Welcome to Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish.
I just wanted to clear up maybe a little conspiracy about Britney Spears. And I know there was a lot of like rhetoric around her teeth.
A lot going on with Britney this past week.
Well, yes. I was watching a YouTube video from Mila Tequila. And it was like going through Britney Spears' like eras through her albums. Mm-hmm. But while I'm watching that, I could slowly see the teeth changing.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
It was. And it kind of like starts during like the conservatorship is when the changes start happening. So I don't know if she got like bad veneers and like chipped her teeth and they didn't want to address it, so they just got her like veneers and they just kind of like kept changing,
or if that is when the real Britney disappeared.
Gone. I know, so it could be that too, and they couldn't quite get the teeth right.
Yeah,
so they kept going in and making changes. I didn't debunk it, I made it worse.
Now I'm scared.
But I could see like the change, like the gradual kind of change to where they are now. Yeah,
maybe it is just veneer related, but
I don't know. I mean, there was like a difference, like when it was like showing her like on the red carpet. It was like, oh, there's her teeth. Oh, they're different now, and they kept like changing.
That's weird.
So, well, I just want to throw that out there.
Britney has just had a tough week. You know, Halloween is coming, but she took it a step too far with knives.
And then she's like, oh, they weren't real.
Yeah, but then people are like, we heard them clanking.
Sure like, no, those are real knives.
And then I didn't see the full video, so I don't know if this is 100% accurate. But people were like, and then in one clip, she comes out with a bandage on her arm.
Oh, no. She got herself.
Accidentally while she's whipping these knives with her dogs in the background.
You know, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's so...
I mean, it is because it's just so like absurd.
Yes, it's like, now what are you doing?
I know.
But I am excited. We did pre-order her book.
I did pre-order it too. Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Mine is now. Here's what I don't understand. Like, I've never pre-ordered a book before. So I ended up getting it from Target because it was on sale there randomly. Well, not that book specifically, but like all their books. So it was included. But it said it was like going to be delivered. Like, when does it come out? The 24th?
Or 25th.
Somewhere, yeah.
26th?
And then it was like between the 5th or 6th or whatever to the 30th. So I'm like, does it get shipped out on the release date? Or
well, I ordered mine from Amazon and it told me it was supposed to be here on the release date.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And I'm like, so do they all just have all these books like sitting and they're not supposed to ship them until
the day? I don't know.
I've never done that either.
Just to everyone that's listening, this will be different for us because
we will have to physically read.
Yes, which, you know, we can read. I want to make sure everyone knows. It's just we don't always have time to sit down. But I do feel like this will be a book that like I want to inhale.
Yeah, you know I know. Or mean? Like go back and like really reread sentences.
Yeah, to
like,
really
understand what's going on.
I'm gonna have my highlighter out. I'm gonna be highlighting sections, you know, to really get into it. That's what I'm
thinking too. I did see like on Amazon, it was like where a bunch of people were pre-ordering her book, Megan Fox's book, and then Arianna's book together.
Well, we need to get those as well.
I almost did Megan Fox's book too, but then I was like, I'm just gonna wait, like,
because is hers December too, or is it November? I can't remember.
I know it was November 4th or something,
okay.
And then
Arianna's is December. Yeah, I mean
it's busy.
We're gonna have a tough couple months here.
Physically reading books. I don't know. I guess on my lunch break.
Well, it's just hard because like we want to read it so quickly so that we can talk about it. And since it's a new book, you know, we want to be timely. So we're really going to be under pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one.
But we can do it.
Yeah.
I have
as long
faith.
as the book comes and...
Let us know. Are you guys pre-ordering any of those books, specifically Brittany's?
Are you planning to read them?
Yeah.
Are you excited about them? Are you nervous about them?
I almost want to get the audiobook later.
Yeah.
To see if she's narrating it.
I know.
She has to be, right? Like, I guess maybe not.
So. Well, I would think she would, because she'd want to say it in her own words. I don't know. That's just my thought. I know, like later on.
This book is going to be...
It's either going to be really intense or, I don't know. I bet she's going to go in. Because even Jamie Lynn, because I listened to her book, she like went in too. So
I think it's going to
like
be
Brittany.
telling.
Yeah.
Whether that is in a sad or just interesting light, I think it will be telling. But yeah, I mean, that's
we'll see.
yet to come. Get ready. Well, I guess should we just say our book club this month since we're already talking about books?
This month we're gonna do Hi Hun. I don't have the author, but I can look it up real fast.
I think we might have discussed this on the pod. I can't remember.
I know I couldn't remember either. Hold on, kid. Oh, okay. It's by Emily Lynn Paulson.
This is by the woman who was a part of a multi-level marketing scheme.
Yes. So she was on the reason we found out about her was just she was on Juicy Scoop.
Yeah, and
we've literally been waiting this long
to get the book. Yeah, and this was months ago. Like literally. I think it was early summer probably.
Yeah.
And we've been on the waiting list for this long.
I know.
But I'm excited. I mean, that interview with Heather McDonald was really interesting, and I find multi-level marketing schemes fascinating.
I know. Have you ever been approached? Sit
down. Yes. She's just the most awkward dog ever.
Literally.
Well, you know, they did, I think Herbalife was definitely an MLM.
It was. That one was an interesting one because it wasn't as marketed as that.
Yeah.
But then like looking at it now, it's like, oh yeah, that definitely.
And it was like, okay, this is supposed to be good for me. Right. So, and you see like people are losing weight on it, which I didn't use it for that, but I did. I remember it was like me and this other girl from college. We both like bought like the beginning thing because it made sense to buy that, but then we never like sold anything.
I know I had another friend that just like wanted to be like a seller so she could just use the product.
That I wouldn't say I did that, but I was kind of involved in that, and I'm trying to think if there was any. Well, we all went to those like jewelry parties, but I was never approached to sell for them.
Or like, and is Mary Kay technically one then too, or
I guess probably, but it seems like that's one of the more.
One seems more like product based instead of like trying to get other people to sell stuff for you, more just like you selling the product. The only time I worked with a girl who did It Works. This was like forever ago, but she never really like pushed. But if you'd ask, she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I have a detox wrap for that. And then there was another time where it was literally the Facebook thing where it was like this girl I went to cosmetology school with. Literally. She I think she like friend requested me, or maybe we were already friends. I can't remember. But then she like messaged me like, hey, how are you? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm good. How are you? Like I was genuinely excited. And then I get the, hey girl, you want to make money? I was like,
I have an opportunity
literally.
For you.
And I didn't say anything back. I was like, I genuinely got excited to hear from you, you freaking brat.
I thought it was so interesting. And this is why both of us were so excited to read this book. Like, she was pretty cut and dry. And she technically didn't say the company, but after looking it up, it was Rodham and Fields.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I don't know how that randomly came to my head.
I know, I forgot. But
Yeah, after doing a little digging, that was where she was for. And it literally is like they just have like cookie cutter of what you're supposed to say when you reach out to people.
And like it was interesting too to hear her say like it's like she knew it was wrong to be pestering these people, but she'd keep doing it.
She had to keep doing it. I think just she seems really real in the book and honest about her experience. So I'm really excited to read this.
Too. And there's also that Shanann Watts was in an MLM too.
Oh yeah,
the true crime, Chris Watts and all that.
Yes, she was.
And I feel like people started talking about MLMs like more again after that happened. So should be good.
Yeah, it will be a good one.
Interesting anyway. So it'll be like a little switch up from just a celebrity.
Yeah, this will be a good one. And you know, there are definitely some out there that people can make livings with, so it's not like we're trying to bash MLMs, but
I think after this book, I think I'll be able to make more like of a opinion about them, because I feel like people just make fun of them so much that it's like, okay, whatever. They're like so easy to ignore, but then to like actually get the juice about it.
It always just reminds me of that episode of The Office where I don't even remember, what was it with Michael?
I can't remember.
He was like trying to, I can't remember what it was. And he was like, no, because let me do the diagram for you. And he's like, it starts with so-and-so. And then these two people, and then Jim goes up and he's like, pyramid
scheme.
That's what it always makes me think of. It's just funny, like people who are in it, they literally they're blinded, like they don't even know. So anyway, hey hun, make sure you pick it up or rent it from the library. Borrow it.
Girl.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh, I had kind of a funny sad thing that happened to me this week. I sent you a snap of it, so you already know like part of it, but I'll give you the entire situation. So on Friday, I'm getting ready to go to work, and I thought I had to be there early. Turns out I didn't. Great. But anyway, I was all prepped the night before. I made my little cold brew coffee in my little like cold brew maker. It was in the fridge. It was ready to go. I'm ready to leave. All I had to do was get my cold brew out and pour it in my cup, and then I was good. I put my ice in my little container. I just want to preface, like, I wasn't rushing. I really was not rushing. I was going at a normal pace. I opened the door with one hand to the refrigerator. I reach in with the other to grab, oh my gosh, Winnie, chill out. To grab
She's driving me nuts.
the cold brew container, and it just slips out of my hand. The lid flies off. Cold brew and coffee grounds fly all over my kitchen. And for some bizarre and nonsensical reason, my kitchen is carpeted. So let that sink in. There is coffee and coffee grounds all over the floor, all over the stove that's right next to the fridge. It's splashed all the way over to my sink cabinets. And I just stood there in complete shock. Like,
I know. It's like, what do you do?
I couldn't even believe that happened. I couldn't even think about like, how do I begin to clean this up? So I washed my hands and I left. I was just like this is a problem for later, Ailish.
I know, right?
So then I like went to a spin class, and then I went to a football game, and I came home and I'm like, I can't vacuum it now. So I vacuumed it up on Saturday, which really I think was the better move, because then it was dry. Yeah. But there's a stain on my carpet. I have to borrow a carpet cleaner to get that out. And then the next day, the fun discovery was that there was also spilt coffee and coffee grounds all inside my refrigerator. So then that was the whole just hours of cleaning the coffee grounds and taking everything out of the fridge and wiping it all down and trying like to take out the shelf and then lift up the glass and get all the, oh my God, it was like, and I told my boss like what had happened. I'm like, you're never going to believe what just happened to me when I got to work. And she was like, aren't you like so mad? And I'm just like, what am I going to do
literally,
about
it's
it?
like at this point, it is what it is.
Right. And I guess like some people probably do have that reaction of like, oh my God, or whatever. But I was just in such a state of shock that I couldn't even like react. And I'm like, well, there's literally nothing I can do to change this. So I'm just going to move on.
Like on with the day.
Yeah. So that was just a disaster.
It's the worst when like tragedies happen. I feel like stuff like that always happens and it just keeps happening throughout the day. Yeah. It's like the day just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Like you can't catch a break.
Or just stuff happens at the worst time, you know? But everything's clean now except for the carpet. Like I have to get that cleaner, like I said, and get the coffee out. I rent my apartment and I don't know why my landlord thought it was a good idea to put carpet in the kitchen.
Weird. I know, like where spills are happening, cooking is happening, oil splashing.
I know. It's like I get, you know, for a noise level for the downstairs, but at the same time, it's a kitchen.
I know, like,
no one puts carpet in their kitchen. It would have been so much easier if it was just a tile floor or a linoleum and I could have just thrown a towel down and but no, it was freaking carpet.
I remember one time in my old apartment, there's carpet in my kitchen too, but it was the different type of
the flatter.
Yeah, but I like in the living room, I was like doing my makeup or something, and I had like a bronzer just like crumble all over, and it was like this big mess, but it did eventually like fluff out.
But that's like with makeup, it won't like come up easily.
No,
because even if you vacuum it, you're really just like moving it around and like pushing it further into the carpet.
It's like I actually have that in there.
Yeah.
A spillage from an eyeshadow in our bedroom now, and I just like don't even want to deal with it.
There's nothing
it's
you
like
can do.
I just wanted to sit there with all the brown spots.
I know. That's when you need to get like one of those heavy duty like carpet washers and watch all the disgustingness.
We actually have one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, if you want to borrow it, you can. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I might need it. Ugh, so gross.
You know. Do you want to take a break for a second?
Yeah, let's take a quick break. The temperatures are starting to cool down, and you know what that means. It is cookie making season. So instead of making your own cookie dough or going and buying that prepackaged stuff at the store that we know isn't super healthy, why not try something that is actually made with good for you ingredients? That is where dough comes in. These cookie doughs are ready to make right out of the tub, and you can also eat the cookie dough raw because it is vegan and gluten-free. The best part is that it's enhanced with different vitamins and supplements that can support your immunity or help stabilize your mood. We have tried a few of these different flavors, and we're always eager to try new ones. They are so delicious. We've tried the donuts as well, which are so perfect to put in your lunchbox for work, and we're going to be trying some of the delicious spreads that they have soon. So if any of that sounds good to you, go to Eat Dough. That's dough spelled DEUX.com and use our promo code WATERBOTTLE for 10% off. That's eatdough.com and use promo code WATERBOTTLE. And we're back.
To a short intermission.
What a week for television.
I know, it was freaking rearing up. Well, Did you watch Dancing with the Stars?
I did. I watched Dancing with the Stars. I haven't watched Dancing with the Stars in years.
You know, I did last season. I watched it a little bit because I was on maternity leave. And when you're up all hours of the night,
makes sense.
Show.
Yeah.
But other than that, it had been such a long time and I had forgotten that Len Goodman died.
I know. I did too. He was so... I mean, he was like, just a pro and he was very classy.
He was. And I feel like he just kind of like passed away out of nowhere. But I mean, he was older. So that was cute.
I think he was ill too, wasn't he?
I can't
They just
remember.
announced his cause of death like yesterday.
Oh,
which,
really?
Yeah, because I couldn't remember when he passed away. I think they said April.
Yeah, I was going to say it was like a little while ago.
But I feel like he was sick. I remember that because he had quit Dancing with the Stars. Or not. He retired from it, I guess. But anyway, that's not the point of this conversation. The main reason why we're watching, obviously, is because of Arianna.
And she did amazing.
They saved the best for last.
They really did.
She came out in a replica red revenge dress. And
it was sparkly.
She looked amazing.
She really did. She's really like glowing. Like, kind of, like, I do feel like sometimes on Vanderpump, which obviously there's like a lot of stuff going on during Vanderpump, but I do feel like she was kind of like this grumpy character, but it's just really nice to see her so happy.
I agree. I mean, of course, things could be the editing, you know, but yeah, she just seems like she's more of herself. And I mean, you know, not to say there were things... seems like there were things prior to the scandal, the cheating that were wrong in the relationship, but like it's clear it was really taking a toll on her.
Yeah, it definitely. But I feel like do you think she's going to win? Because I was kind of like, I feel like she has the fan base to be calling in, but then compared to like the like competition, I was like, I don't know who's like the most popular.
I know. The cast was kind of random. Like Jason Mraz was on there.
I know. And he
what?
did good, didn't he? If
yeah,
I remember
he
correctly.
had a high score.
Like, dang.
There were a couple like younger people that I didn't know who they were.
Yeah, that one girl. What's her name? Soshi?
Yeah, something like that.
She was cute.
She was cute.
What do you think about them having like 17-year-olds like competing? Because isn't she 17?
Yeah, and isn't the one professional? Like, didn't she just like, graduate or something? Yeah. I mean, I guess I think it's just weird a little bit if they're paired with somebody who's like older. Significantly older.
Because you have to have like this chemistry. Because even like Charlie D'Amelio was on it last year, and she, I mean, was with Mark Ballas, if I remember correctly. And I mean, he's not like insanely old, but I mean, compared to her.
Yeah, and it's not even, from my perspective, it's not even like, oh, it's inappropriate that they would be. It's more of like, I think it's more difficult to get that natural chemistry, or if you're doing like,
you like can't in a way.
Right. If you're doing like the really sexy like tango or something, like, okay, I'm like 21 and I have to pretend that I have the hots for this, or really like, okay, yeah, maybe you really do think this 35-year-old is hot, but like he is that older person gonna do that to you? Like, I don't know, it could just be awkward.
Right. And then to like make the dance as sensual as it needs to be from like to the viewers, it's and it's like you can't make them look too adult when they're underage. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of like, I was just kind of thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, it can, obviously the professionals are professionals, but I think it's hard to like fake that kind of stuff too. I mean, it's a competition, but you know, like it still would be kind of difficult.
I feel like it's like a weird dynamic, and I know they don't always have like young people on there. But
I don't know. I know. I can't even remember other people that are on it right now. Honestly,
Hannigan.
Oh yeah, you know what? I don't want to sound like really rude, but I haven't seen her in quite a long time, and I was a little surprised.
I actually thought she didn't look too bad. She like looked the same, but again, it's like weird to see people like letting themselves age.
I agree.
Compared to like what we're used to seeing, that when somebody does like and they have like their natural teeth and their natural lips, it is kind of like, oh,
a little jarring.
Yeah.
And I guess I just haven't seen her in anything. And
no, I wanted to look that up and I never did. If she's
I didn't read into this, but I had just Googled her, and I don't even know why, because I didn't even like read anything. And something was saying like why she was like banned from Hollywood or blacklisted. So I didn't look into that because she wasn't really a favorite of mine, you know.
Yeah, like I liked her on How I Met Your Mother and American Pie. This one time at band camp, I stuck a flute up my...
But like really How I Met Your Mother was her last.
And I liked her in that, but she wasn't somebody like, I don't know, that I was like looking up all the time and like keeping up with them in their career. But
I guess for me, one of the reasons why I was so like a little bit thrown off by just her aging was because my last memory of her was from How I Met Your Mother, but that ended like years ago.
Know.
So it's unrealistic for me. But since that was the last time I really like remember her. And then now it was like, okay.
Even that whole cast is kind of stuff for like Jason Segel. But I mean, I haven't seen his face in a while.
Yeah.
Or isn't he on a show right there? Was like a show where he was playing.
Like a sitcom or something?
No, I think it was a little bit more serious, or like a drier, serious thing where he was like a... Oh, never mind. So I won't look it up.
I mean, I vaguely remember.
I feel like it was on Hulu or something. Like it was on like a...
But I don't think I've watched it.
No, I never watched it. But... Other than him and like Neil Patrick Harris,
but even Neil Patrick Harris hasn't been doing a ton of stuff. It's just like he's still in the media, you know, like
he's friends with people and like hosts stuff,
right? But he hasn't been doing a ton of projects recently. But anyway, okay, so she's on it. Jason Mraz, like we said,
Tyler Cameron.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
No,
right?
no.
Or is he on?
No, it's Harry Jowsey.
Oh, Harry Jowsey. Tyler Cameron's on the other show.
Well,
they're the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I never listened to his the podcast he's on, but he's always like in the influencer podcast scene.
I don't want to. I feel like I'm just being really judgmental about people, but I never watched Too Hot to Handle.
No, I never watched that either.
But I don't look at him and I'm not like, oh, you are too hot to handle. Like, I think he's good looking. He has a great body. I feel like it's the accent and like the height. And he seems to be really charming. Like I know like when they talk about him, like the influencers, they always say like he's so fun and like so I feel like he's definitely got like a personality. Right. I would agree. Because I looked up his Instagram and I was just scrolling through and he seems funny, charismatic. He's got the riz, as these young kids are saying. But I'm not like, if you literally just saw a photo of him and didn't know anything else, like I personally wouldn't be like drooling over him. That not to say that he's like ugly, but you're just kind of like, okay, what's the hype about here? But he's on it. And Tyson Beckford.
Oh yeah, Tyson Beckford's on there.
You know, we're just going off on tangents, but this is basically all this episode is
like
about.
It's like I'm trying to know where I know these people from.
So Tyson Beckford, for those of you who might not know or not remember, because he hasn't fallen off a little bit, he was a huge model. Do you think it was in the 90s too? I think it was. He probably was around, but more in the 2000s.
Yeah, I was going to say more in the 2000s.
He was like the hottest thing since sliced bread for a while there.
He was always featuring on America's Next Top Model.
Yes, always.
I think the girls would get to like pose with him. Like, can you? Like, I feel like that was so like past. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody was acknowledging like what a big deal and experience that would be. Like, in your portfolio, you're with one of the biggest male models of the time.
I know. And then just to be like on a personal level, you're like, oh my God, he's so beautiful.
It's like you're meeting him. You're like freaking getting, you know?
I know.
Like, that was a very underrated moment they got.
I think he also was in, had some cameos in shows or movies at the time. So I honestly had not really thought about his career in quite some time. I mentioned him to a coworker recently because two people that we know one specifically that I sent you that picture of looks similar to Tyson Beckford. I'm like, you have a career in modeling, but I'm not going to tell you because that's a little creepy. But so I looked him up on Instagram and I was like shocked by the little amount of interaction he gets on his social media.
I know. I feel like there's like these like weird like people or like celebrities, I guess, that fall into obscurity after they've had like a ton of fame. And it's like, I don't know if it's just like that generation after us didn't have like see them at all, but they literally just like disappear. And you're like, how do you only have 300,000 followers? Like, you should have way more.
Or like some of his posts would get like 2,000 likes. I'm like, that's I mean, we're not pulling that, but that would be attainable
like
for
people we know get that many likes. It's like, so, and they aren't known like that.
So I was like, man, like, I don't know how long Tyson's going to stay on this show. Because for me, I'm like, oh my God, Tyson Beckford. But I guess other people don't really feel that way.
Like, literally don't know. I know, that is interesting. Poor guy.
I know. I thought, and he was like the third one before the final two, and they're like, this isn't necessarily the bottom three, but I'm like, man, at least just like on looks he should have gotten more votes.
I know. It'll be an interesting, like, I just feel like, who else is on there?
Mauricio.
Oh yeah, Mauricio. I feel like I was expecting him to do a lot better. Just, I don't know, like,
just stereotypically.
He should like have done good at dancing, but it kind of reminds me of like Vinny from Jersey Shore last season, where it's like I almost felt like he like clammed up, and like the pressure of it. And he's probably not used to. Well, I guess he has that new reality show, but I don't know how much he's like in it. But it's probably just weird for him to be like the center of attention.
Yeah, and especially doing something outside of his comfort zone. Yeah. I wonder if Kyle's going to come to everything. I highly doubt that she will. But I wonder if she's not in the audience, if he'll like loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, where it's like everybody's looking to see what Kyle's reaction is. And I do feel like it'd be weird, like if you're already in, I don't know, on bad terms kind of with your wife, and then have her watch you dancing with some like young thing,
and you know that she has already moved on with a lesbian lover.
allegedly But I don't know if that would be like weird too. I don't know.
I can't think of anybody else that's on there that's like notable.
I know, but there's like a football.
Oh yeah, there's a football player,
football players
who I can't think, and I know who it is. I just can't think of his name right now. There's like two. Are there two younger ones? I think.
Hold on, let me just look it up.
And then the poor guy that got voted off. He was a comedian.
Barry Williams is on it. From. Oh my gosh. That show called?
Was he the older guy?
The older guy. There's like two older guys.
But one got voted off.
Yeah, he was the oh my gosh, what's that show? It's so famous. Marsha Brady, the Brady Bunch.
I didn't even realize that's who that was.
He was so precious.
I missed all the intros. I like started the show and I'm like, well, I don't really care about this much, and I like walked away and then came back.
Jamie Lynn Spears.
Oh gosh, how could we have forgotten it?
Because we just had a whole conversation about.
I don't know. I remember it came out where she was like approved to practice at a different location or something.
I think it did show
and people
that they were down in Louisiana or whatever.
They weren't really taking too kindly to that, like the general public's. I don't know how long she'll stick around for, honestly.
I know she seems to be, but the judges seem to kind of like her.
Yeah, but I don't think she has the public on her side.
No.
She's burned a couple bridges.
Yes. Especially with this book coming out.
Yeah, no kidding.
Lele Pons.
Oh, yeah, that too, that.
Which I didn't know. This might sound stupid. I knew her as a YouTuber, not as like a musician.
I didn't know that either. And she's like, I was top of the charts in Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. Is that where she said? I was like, wow. I mean, that just goes to show how, like, some people can be famous and what. I mean, America isn't the only country in our world. So
yeah, I just remember from like YouTube. She got married recently, and Paris Hilton was a bridesmaid.
What?
Yes, because there was this one influencer. I don't even know if I saw it on Snapchat or TikTok, but she was in the wedding, and I don't even remember what that girl's name was. But then I'm like, Paris Hilton is literally over there. And then
that
it was like crazy. I looked on Paris Hilton stuff and she was in the wedding. So somehow she's
oh my gosh.
Hilton.
That's crazy.
That's what I thought. I think we got everybody. The football player is Adrian Peterson.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Barry Williams, and then...
You said everybody else. Yep. Okay, well, we weren't that bad.
No.
Okay, remember back, 2007, when you would watch Dancing with the Stars religiously?
Yes.
Okay.
Voting.
Yeah, literally calling in. I feel like there's a huge difference between how night one was back then versus night one now. Like... I don't think that there was really anybody that I would say was like so horrible.
Right.
And there were definitely some people that like brought it. And I feel like the judges weren't giving them higher scores because they felt like they couldn't because it was night one.
Right.
But I was just shocked by how much better people are. I don't know if they have more time.
Right.
Or just better choreography. Like I have no idea what it is, but some of those first dances used to be rough.
I know. Like, I mean, even Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they used to be, and then they'd have like, it seemed like less contestants too. Like, I feel like since, like in these later years, they've had a lot more contestants. But yeah, I know. I definitely remember. But I feel like those bad dances in the beginning, they'd be like 7. This time they're like 4.
Yeah.
I was like,
okay, but I appreciate that.
No, I like the honesty.
Yeah, because I hate it on a show where they're like, yeah, this was so good. And then they give like a good score. They put the people through or whatever. Right. And you know that it didn't deserve it. I do think they could be a little harsher with their criticism just because sometimes they're like, this was amazing. Like you did such a great job out there. And then they're like 6.
Like, I know, right?
Okay, well, what was?
I know you
what
just
could they
said
have done
I did
better?
great. Yeah.
But it is kind of an interesting dynamic wwith what's his name? Berto. What's the freaking guy's name? Mario Bertoni.
Oh,
or I feel like that's the pasta. I think that's pasta
rigatoni.
Yeah. I can't think of it.
How do you say his name?
Is it Bertoni? And then I can't even think. Arianna Madix.
Wait, Bruno Tagnoli. Wait.
Mario Bertoni.
Bruno. Wait, what did it? Bruno Tagnoli.
I wasn't close at all. I just threw out
Bruno.
A stereotypical Italian name and hope it was right.
Mario Luigi. Anyway.
Oh, he's sporting an interesting look these days.
I know, it's
with his iced tips.
Oh, I thought he was just like graying. Oh, I thought his hair was like gray or white.
I thought he dyed it.
Oh, maybe he did. And here I am. I'm like, oh, how sweetie. That is great hair.
It looked like too bright. I don't know.
It was very bright.
Or maybe it was just juxtaposed with his extremely tan skin.
Hold on, I'm zooming in on him. No, I think that's true.
Do you think it's gray?
I think
it's honestly hard to tell.
It is kind of hard to tell, though.
The tan is making me have a skewed view. We'll put a picture up, guys, so you can judge. But
anyway, sorry.
He was wearing a very sexual mesh rhinestone tank.
He's definitely got kind of like more of that like flamboyant type of style.
I would love to see what he was like as a dancer.
I know. You know he's got the like...
Oh, those hips, they were moving.
I know. And then Derek Huff was also a judge.
I mean, he's a good judge.
He was. I thought... Yeah, I did feel like they all were just like really nice sitting there.
Do you feel though? Sorry, I have like internal dialogue that I haven't expressed. Do you feel like Derek and Julianne Hough are in Dancing with the Stars purgatory?
I know. Get out. It's like she's like, I was a judge last season or something. Or I'm judged, I've competed, and I've hosted.
They literally cannot escape the show. Like, do you think that they want this? Or
I don't know if they're just making it like, well, because I was kind of thinking of it too. Like, what a good gig to have as a professional dancer. So I feel like I don't know if they just stay because it's like the ultimate gig.
And it's consistent.
Yeah, it's like every season you come back and now you don't even have to dance. You're just judging and hosting.
And now Julianne is just up in the skybox where Aaron Andrew. Why can't I get Aaron Andrews? Isn't that her name? Why can't I get anyone's name right today?
Yeah, I mean, they've had a ton of hosts.
She was the ESPN analyst. Yeah. That was Erin Andrews, right? Yeah, she used to host. Now she's off.
Tyra
Julian. Yeah, Tyra. And she just has to be up there like, okay, we're waiting for your scores. Like, what an easy little gig for her.
I know. That's it's
but
like...
it's just... I don't know. Does she want this? Is she stuck in a never-ending contract, like a death oath?
I know.
That they've both made.
Yeah, it's like, it's their like Illuminati of dance.
And like Derek Huff is the leader because he's in the middle. Like he replaced Len
I know.
Goodman.
It was interesting that he was in the middle. I would have been mad if it would have been like Carrie Ann or something.
Or
put me in the middle. Bruno.
I know. Yeah, I just think it's kind of funny. Like they cannot get out of this franchise.
They're competing, hosting. I wonder what they are like as siblings.
Well, they put on a pretty good persona.
I know.
Yeah. And didn't they used to dance together sometimes too, which is like a little weird.
I know. Again, it goes back to like the like chemistry and the sensuality of dance, and even though you could probably like separate that, but it does seem like you don't want to cross like a weird line when you're dancing with they had like a special on Disney Plus where they like went through like the old movies and like did dances.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it was cute. Again, I watched on my maternity leave just
all these random shows.
Things I would never have watched in a million years.
I almost though, like when they would do their dancing, it was almost intriguing. It's like, this is wrong.
It's kind of hot though. You're like, well, what if they like did cross the line?
Like, would I look away?
Oh my God. And like they kind of like look alike too. So it's like gives you this like interesting like,
you know what it gives? It gives Ryan and Sharpay Evans.
Yeah, it does give that. or from Life with Derek.
Casey and Derek.
It's giving Casey and Derek.
There's a whole fan fiction about Casey and Derek. Oh my God.
Anyway.
The funny thing about that show is like when I watched it as a
I know, like you're picking up on it.
Yeah, but like you didn't really understand.
No, you're like, I'm sensing something here. I want them to kiss. Why?
But they're siblings.
It's just like that tension.
But it just felt like they were always on the cusp.
Yeah,
like,
we're like a line.
Like what was happening off camera?
Right. They're like dating off camera.
But they're siblings on TV. Oh my God.
Anyway.
I don't know. And part of me, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see Arianna win, but part of me is like, if she wins, is it just like, okay, enough is enough? Like this has to be rigged at this point,
I know. Or like, I don't know. I mean, we were talking about this a little on Snapchat. It's like, it's sad that they even bring in like older people. It's like when you have a hot young thing like Arianna, who's probably, I mean, at this point, like, I'm just sitting here.
Also almost 40.
But yeah, that's true. But she looks young.
Yeah, she looks great.
But it just seems like, it just doesn't seem fair. Even like last season, they had Charli D'Amelio. It's like, obviously she was going to win. She has the fan base and the talent.
Right. I know.
So it's like, I don't know. It just seems kind of like pointless to even bring some of these people on if you know they're not going to do
Well,
good.
that's where it just felt like back when the show kind of started and probably to when I stopped watching, which I don't know when that was, but it doesn't matter. It felt like it did kind of start at a more even playing field. And then as you did more rehearsals and practices and learned more, that's when like people really started to pull away.
Right. And it's kind of like if you're known for having like C-listers on there, it's like nobody wants to be like on there and be a C-list celebrity that got put for it. Because even like in the beginning when they'd have like Drew Lachey or like Kelly Monaco, but I mean they've had Zendaya on there.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, she wasn't in like her full, she was still like a Disney.
Yeah.
Or like Disney people. It was, I don't know, it just felt more well-rounded. Like, here's this Disney person for the kids. Here's this.
There'd always be like a
anchor.
soap star, an like, ex-player, athlete.
Right. It's like you're bringing in all, like everybody's demographic. But this time it just doesn't like feel that way anymore.
No. And remember back in the day, the athletes would always win. It was like, no matter what, like it was the athlete because they just had like the...
It was cool, and it was cool to like see these like macho manly athletes do something so, I don't know, something out of the box.
I know. I felt bad for the guy that went home, and I honestly did not know who he was.
No, and that's why it just felt like, and he looked so disappointed. And it was just like,
but he knew, like you knew he knew, and I knew even if he had a great dance, I'm like, I bet you he's going home because people just don't know him.
I know, it kind of sucks too. I wish they could not send him to be home the first time. That way, everybody at least got like 2 dances.
I agree. Like
you know, like what's the point? You only had one time.
Yeah, why do they do elimination the first night? I can't remember if they always did that, but I feel
can't remember either.
I don't know. I do like it when we get, this has been a really long conversation about Dancing with the Stars, but
sorry.
But I do like it when they get later in the season when they can all do 2 dances.
Yeah.
I love
And then
that.
it's like the heat is
yes.
Because it's like they have to keep it at like the 2-hour mark every week, which is kind of like crazy.
I know.
Like, dang, that's a long time.
Remember they'd like have a like live performance come in. Like the one time Jonas Brothers played, like they'd always have. It's
then
like,
they'd have like a dance group to go into the
all
music.
The pros would have to dance.
So then the
3 pros are whipping out 3 dances.
Yeah, it's like, dang, they're really earning their money, man.
I know, no freaking kidding.
But I mean, I'll probably keep watching.
Yeah,
but
I will too.
I don't know if we'll talk about it all the time.
No, but it's, I mean, it's really lighthearted television. And I honestly think it's kind of nice. Like, we're going to talk about special forces here in a second too. But it's kind of nice to have just these like kind of mindless shows with all the drama that we've been pumping into our brains with like Housewives, Vanderpump. Like I just need something I can just mindlessly stare at and be entertained.
I don't be mesmerized by the limbs moving around.
The sparkles. Yes. So Special Forces. I've never watched this show.
No, it was good, but I did definitely chuckled a lot because it was like so serious in tone.
I know.
And I was just be like,
so
they show you it.
Literally at first, and I sent you this when I started it, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch this because it was just like so dramatic.
So dramatic. And wait, I just have one question. So this isn't a weekly elimination, right?
Oh, is it not?
I don't know. I can't tell because they didn't eliminate anybody, and it was almost like you choose how long you stay. So I don't know, but I would have thought it was going to be like a weekly elimination show. But I did see JoJo Siwa. I didn't listen to the whole interview, but she started talking about it, Special Forces, and she said they were there for 8 days.
Oh my gosh, only 8 days?
Yeah, so that's why I was like, what's going on here? But I don't know if I misheard her, but I thought, and she's like, well, I can't tell you how long I've been there. So I assumed after I heard that, or how many days I was there, I assumed that meant they were eliminating each week, but then we didn't eliminate this week, so I don't know.
So then how do they have a winner?
I don't know. So maybe they are. I just was like, they didn't this time.
Dynamic.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway, the only reason why I tuned into this was, well, I guess there's multiple. I did want to see Tom Sandoval on it.
But can I confess something?
Yeah. Oh, God. I already know where this is going. I already know.
That the mustache is gone. I don't know. He's looking good to me. I'm like, can I forgive
This is literally horrible because everyone in America was like,
we hate him at the stake. Now I'm like, he takes that thing off in his hair. I was like,
just wait till he's like, I want to be it. I deserve it.
Oh, I can't wait for that episode. Oh gosh.
No, I literally on Turtle Time, the podcast, they were kind of talking about that too.
Oh, were they?
And not about his looks, but they were just like,
I just suddenly forgive him. I don't know. I just feel like now that maybe the mustache was like it was like an evil entity and it caused him to cheat on Arianna. Now that it's gone, I can forgive him. He was in the wrong state of mind.
Okay, here's the thing.
I'm just kidding. Okay, I cannot forgive him.
But in seriousness, like you don't necessarily like forgive someone all the way, and obviously we don't know these people, but it really is just like the further you're removed from it, like time wise, and when you see how Arianna is fully living her life, I know, and like thriving,
this was good for her,
and it just makes you be like, why am I harboring this anger
towards him? I know, that is an interesting thing too, like just to think about, like.
But on a personal level, if this happened in like our friend group, like I don't think I could.
No, I wouldn't be friends with him again. But it's like we're enough removed
our friend
from
group of us.
If you did that, out. I'm not talking to you again.
I couldn't get rid of you because you're the only one I have. And I would just be alone.
Like, dang, that sucks. Anyway,
it would be a dramatic split of the podcast. It'd be like Call Her Daddy, except no one would care. Oh my God. Anyway,
sorry.
And Tyler Cameron is on it. That's where
where he came from.
And Nick Vial is on it. So when I
didn't get to see enough of him.
No, first episode, him and Tyler, there really wasn't much.
No.
I was intrigued by the idea of those two being on there because Tyler was on Nick's podcast and I listened to that episode. And I mean, I do think it's like an interesting concept for a television show. It's like kind of a mix between like Fear Factor and like, Survivor or something, or like American Ninja Warrior, where you're like pushing yourself and trying to prove.
It seems like such a cool opportunity for them to like do this.
I know.
And like just be
but can we talk about Tara Reid?
Oh.
I don't even want to like make fun of this. It is truly, and I feel like I'm like laughing or smiling because it's so
awkwardly
sad.
painful.
Yeah.
I know, it really was like, I was just like, oh. And
I know.
And it was sad too, because it was like, wow, she's almost 50 years old. I was like, holy crap. And then it was just kind of like, she just always had this bad reputation in the press. And I was really feeling bad for her. And I felt like she's still like stuck in that, like, I'm 20.
I agree.
And the media's talking about me all the time.
And then I really was like, just watching her do this stuff, I'm like, come on, guys. Why did we ask her to do this?
I can't believe she's like, I wonder if she'll like last.
I don't know. I don't know if she
was in rough shape, man.
Oh, I mean, the poor woman hasn't been in a good state for decades. And then when she said, like, I used to be stronger, I was just like, Tara, when?
I know. And then she even made the comment, like, people used to say she was like anorexic. And I was just thinking of those like bikini pictures where she almost had like a bandana or something on her head. And it was like, she was like emaciated.
She was, right? Like, I mean,
I know,
it's just, that was honestly really sad to watch. And when they brought her into the really lame interrogation, like, that was so cheesy and ridiculous.
Like, to cover their face, it's like, first of all, they had to walk to it. Like, if you were trying to keep them from knowing where they were, they had to walk to it. Then they were covered and taken.
And then they just brought them down a hallway.
And then when poor Tara, she comes, when they called for her and she came running, he's like, go put your pants on. And she goes to run.
I was sleeping. I know.
It's like, oh, Tara.
I know.
Your feeble bones.
And even when they had with the little hood on her head and they whip it off and she like looks terrified. It's just
and then she had cigarettes in her pocket.
She was trying to
she was like ready to chain smoke.
She had like 15 packets of cigarettes. That's an exaggeration, but it was in every. And then she goes
3 or 4 of them.
I don't know how they got
then he's like, check your other one. Nothing's in there. Oh, how'd that get in there? Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. But I kind of believe that she didn't know how it got. She forgot that she put
the fact that when she was in the interrogation, they put subtitles. They literally put subtitles because you couldn't understand her.
Like, the way she talks is very mumbly.
It was just, and then
so
horrible. But when she's holding the rock.
Oh, it's so mean. I
swear to God, I'm not laughing at her. I really am not. It's
she
just
couldn't.
I know, and she just had it resting on her head. I was like, oh, poor child. I will say, like, for everyone that's watching this and listening and thinking we're terrible people, I was not laughing.
No,
when
I wasn't.
was
like,
watching.
I genuinely like felt bad for her, and but I also enjoyed like seeing her though too, because I felt like she was being like really honest and. Like, man, this is hard and I want to do good. And
she's just an example of how, like, I told you this, the industry just like chewed her up and spit her out. And like, I just feel so bad for her. Like, I really do. And there were so many times where I feel like she was put on shows just to make fun of her.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she is kind of like that, like out there scatterbrained. And like, I liked her on the Sharknado movies.
Yeah, I mean, she was
so beautiful.
She was, and she was fine, like in those kitschy films, you know. But Yeah, things got real bad there, and they never really got any better. But
I know. Do you remember that story? Was it on Juicy Scoop where it was like Tara Reid walked up to some of the Vanderpump cast and was like, "Tom Sandoval is a good person."
Yeah,
you are. It's like, and
they were
like,
dear. Get away.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? You just met him for 8 days.
Be completely honest. Like, if you just randomly saw her walk up to you, I feel like you would be like, what is this person doing?
Scared.
You know?
I know.
Yeah. I mean, I really wish her the best.
Like, I know. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed seeing her, and just like, she's not like the Sandoval or the Tyler Cameron who's like in shape. And
what'd you think about JoJo Siwa on there?
I don't know. I think like she definitely seems like somebody who is like scatterbrained in a different way, like kind of like ADHD type. I definitely don't know. I feel like she's not used to being in like a serious situation. Right. Like she always is like laughing and giggling and like being silly and over the top.
Yeah. It's also just I think she is like really an interesting person to kind of dissect, because
I know. I thought that, yeah, like just even the stuff where they were like, I'm just so used to not being allowed to do anything dangerous. I was like, dang, that was interesting to think about.
Or just like the fact that for so long she had to keep up with this like persona. Rainbow sparkle little kid persona. I mean, she was like a full-on elder teenager and still wearing her hair in pigtail. I mean, that was like crazy.
It was crazy.
And I mean, that kind of like messes with somebody. I know. You know, it's like that like Peter Pan syndrome. Yeah. Not that I think that she fully has that, because she's like 22 or something. I don't even know how old she is.
She's still young.
Yeah, but it is just like, I think it must be difficult for her to kind of move on from that and figure out who she is. And that's why like everything with her sexuality, it almost, like, I believe everything that she's saying. And I think it's great that she's coming out with how she really feels about everything. But like, it seemed so over the top because we were so not used to her like being a real person. Essentially, she was like a cartoon basically,
where you like didn't even really know her.
Yeah. So when she like shaved her head, you're like, oh my god, what is going on?
She's becoming a troubled child.
Yeah, like it was just, or when she was in that public relationship with that girl who I do not know what her name was, it was like, whoa, like you are over the top with this. But really she was just being a normal person. So yeah, I think seeing a vulnerable side from her is interesting.
I know, yeah, that was cool to see. We had Brian Austin Green is exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah,
him to
a bit of a jerk. Black China's on there.
You know, I felt bad for her because it seemed like she was just like really cold. You know, like she's not used to like, because she has all that fillers taken out and she's lost a bunch of weight.
Her body is
like in really shock.
It's really adjusting. Yeah, she, you know,
I would have liked a little more from her. I'm sure we'll get more.
I'm sure we will too. It's interesting how like, because she has gotten stuff dissolved, and I think that's a process, right? It doesn't just happen immediately, but her face is looking so angular right now. And I'm just like, is this still a little bit of leftover fillers? Because it's almost like looking a little odd, but I think it's just the mixture of we're dissolving the fillers. She has lost weight.
Yeah, it's just feel like we're like not used to seeing her look like this, because she was always like, she just had a rounder face. Right. And it's like, I don't know, it's different. But
I was on Nick Vial's podcast when they were saying, you know, how the little spat between Brian Austin Green and Black China happened, and it seemed so random. I don't know if you listened to that episode, but they were like, did that really happen as like out of the blue as it seemed for us on the show? And Nick was like, yeah, it actually did.
Bro, well, it's like you're in this high stress situation and then this rando is like picking at you.
He's like, yeah, I like to poke the bear.
Like,
yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
It's like, we know.
That's why Megan left.
Mr. wanted to date her when she was 17.
Yeah, let's not get started on that.
He definitely seems like that person that was like stuck in the time where they were really popular.
Yeah, I agree.
Isn't he dating somebody that used to be on Dancing with the Stars? Like it was his...
They're engaged and they had a baby.
Yeah, I knew they had a baby, but she that's how they met or whatever. Sharna.
Is that who it was?
Burgess? Is that something?
Yeah, I think that's her last name. She's like Australian or New Zealand or something.
I don't know what these women see in him, but
I don't know either. Yeah, he doesn't.
Maybe he's charming.
He doesn't really seem like he is. I actually am interested in this show. Like,
I know, I thought it was good.
I didn't love the dramatic like documentary. Like,
I know
what do they even call them? It's not like contestants. It's like some military name. I can't think of it.
I can't remember either.
Or it'll be like number 4.
Yeah, I know.
Could not complete the task.
Like, come on.
It's like, okay, we don't need this dramatic voice.
We know who that is.
But yeah, I think it'll be kind of interesting to watch. And
I know, I definitely think this is going to be another keep watch.
Yeah. Again, just nothing I have to put a lot of effort into. I can just leisurely watch it.
My son was really into it.
That was so cute.
He was so well, I was kind of talking up because we did that urban air thing, and there was like rock climbing walls and like stuff where you could jump down, and I'm like, you did stuff like that? And he was like, yeah, I did. I'm like, you could do this. But I'm like, are they gonna fall? He'd be like, I don't know.
That was cute. I don't know if I would be able to do that. That first challenge is really tough.
I thought it looked tough too. And I mean, like, you'd be like, oh, you're hooked up to a cord, but it's like, you're still, what if the cord snapped?
I know.
My son literally asked that, and I'm like, it won't. It's really strong. And I'm like, hopefully I'm right on that.
Some of those things, and even like, when they're doing some of the things that were in the preview, it's like, I think I would struggle with them. I think I could attempt them. But the thing that I think would get me is the cold.
I know.
Like, that would be a hard no.
And everything's hurting. Your muscles are tensing up. You're shaking. It's like, no, thank you. Even like Jack Osborne.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, I watched last season, but I didn't think it looked that tough. And then he's like, now I'm like doing it. Doesn't he have MS? Wasn't there like a whole thing where he had like...
I don't know if it was MS. I feel like he has something. I do vaguely remember that. I thought it was interesting how he said he wanted to be in the military, like over in England, but then he didn't because the show started. He
honestly seems like a pretty normal, well-adjusted man.
Yeah, I know, which is shocking because of his family. But I kind of like him.
I know, I liked him too, and I feel like he was on something else, and I liked him.
I feel like he just does like a random reality show every now and then.
It says at age 26, Osborne was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Oh, he does. You're right.
They didn't mention a single thing about that on this episode. Maybe they will a different day.
Maybe it'll be coming. But he's got to be what? Like,
I think it's 37.
I was going to say 35. Okay. Yeah, there's another football player on that one.
I'm like getting Dance with the Stars and this confused.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm just looking forward to see the challenges. I think those will be cool.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's cool. Now I want to watch last season.
I know. So you watched the Golden Bachelor. I did not watch it yet, but I will. And I had told you before it started that I just feel a little conflicted because I think it's going to be sad.
I know. It was, I mean, the first episode, because they were like doing like the backgrounds of people and stuff. It wasn't as sad as I was expecting, but I mean, it was sweet and cute.
Yeah.
And he was like talking about his honey or whatever, but they didn't get too much into like anybody who was a widowed or anything yet. So I don't know if that'll be like further on as we go, but it was cute and it was like fun to see like just that age group like interacting in like a datey way.
I know. We don't see that. That's not, that isn't typically in the media or on the TV.
No, and obviously they're like in a weird situation where there's like a bunch of people. Like it's not a typical dating situation, but it was just kind of like cute. And all the ladies had like this like their own little personality. But some of they were gorgeous. Like,
I did look at photos of them.
There's this one girl, Edith. She is stunning, like knockout. Like, dang, I'll date her. But it was cool just to like, I don't know, and just see older people like in a situation.
I mean, I think most of their backstories are going to be, I'm widowed, I'm divorced, I just never found the one. You know, that's going to be probably majority widowed and divorced.
Yeah.
So I kind of already see that coming. I don't think those stories are going to be what really makes me emotional. It's going to be like when we start narrowing down the women, when they all start to actually have feelings for
I know, that's going to get really Gary. Wait. Gary or it's Gary.
But when they all start to have feelings for him and then he's gonna have to let him go, and then it really could be like, I might never find anybody else, you know,
especially if the not chosen people or even like the one lady even was like, this has to work out, I need to find somebody, and I was like,
don't do that.
I know, I'm nervous. I know, and he was so upset to like get rid of the girls this time. He's like, you're just all so wonderful. And it was kind of funny too to like the ladies are kind of like supportive of each other at first. You know, it's like, I love your earrings, I love you. And then all of a sudden they're like, but I do want to win.
Yeah,
you know, like you could see it. I'm curious to see what like the actual drama between like everything's gonna be, if there's gonna be as much. And I did see they like had their little bits of alcohol too, so I'm like, I wonder what's gonna go
That's
down.
what makes, I was talking to other people about it, it's like, you know, a lot of the girls or younger men that go on this show, I mean, you know, they're in it for love, but most of them are probably more like, okay, I could get on The Bachelor or Bachelor as the main character. I could earn a social media following and become an influencer. But with these women that are established in their life, I think the majority of them are probably retired. It's like they don't need that.
Right.
So I don't think, but this is just my opinion, but I don't think that there will be as many ulterior motives.
Right. No, I definitely felt that way with the women. Like, they want to be here for him. Like, they're like, oh, yeah, this guy's hot.
Yeah.
He's like everything I want.
But it is different because it's like, okay, what are they going to fight over? Is there going to be the same drama? These are women that I would assume being, you know, of their age, they're a little bit more secure in themselves.
Right. Yeah, I definitely saw that in these women. They just felt really like, I don't know, they just all seem so confident and like just, they're like, hey, this is a great time. I really want to find love.
Yeah, and this is me.
I know. This is who I am. This is what I like to do. It was really cool to see just like that security at that age. And even like just to see them too, like, I know this sounds dumb, but like rollerblading and like exercise. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't have to be like when you're 70 or 65, you don't have to just be a freaking like from SpongeBob where it's like
and blend into the a walker blending into the recliner. Yeah. It's like, I think that's nice.
Yeah, it was just like a really cool thing to see. It's like, oh, wait, it's okay to get old.
Life doesn't end.
No.
I know. It is kind of beautiful, too. We're promoting, like, you can find love at any age and, like, you can have a second chance. You know, like, that's really nice. And there haven't been shows like that.
No.
And I think they're handling this in a really nice way.
I know. I am curious though if we're gonna get like the same like sleep deprived, too much alcohol drama that we normally get, or if they're like being really easy on like the older group.
What I wonder is like, what about hometowns? What about fantasy suites?
I was just talking to my mom earlier about the fantasy suites. I'm like, are they going to do fantasy suites or are they going to do like a different type of situation? And like there was, and I don't mean to be ageist, but it's like, I don't really want to see like people kissing like on reality shows anyway, and they were like there's some smooching going on, but I'm like I'm drawing the line at the fantasy suite. But I don't want to hear about it.
And it's not like, okay, obviously it's healthy to continue to have a sex life at whatever age, but I just feel like, and we're not at that point, so I could be completely off, but it just seems like when you're at that point in your life, it would be more about the connection that you have with somebody. So like the focus isn't so much on like the sexual part as it is with the younger people. Right. I mean, I could be off.
I'm not sure. And in like the preview, I don't remember it saying anything about like, oh, I don't know if they normally would anyways, talking about the fantasy suite. So I do wonder if they are going to do something different, if they're just not going to do anything along those lines at all, or if they were going to full blown do.
Right. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. Yeah, I'll have to watch that this week, and then, you know, I'll keep watching that one too. Did you have, besides Beautiful Edith, did you feel like he had a major connection with anyone right away?
I did think he had a connection with this one woman, and I can't remember her name, but she like plays the guitar for him and like comes in on a motorcycle. So
goodness.
So she gets the first impression rose, but I don't know. It's so interesting, like how much it's gonna like change, because I feel like it's always like that, where it's like, ooh. But I don't know. But I wanted him to like Edith because I like her.
Remember Matt and James?
I
saw his mom was on there, but she got voted or like didn't get a rose. But you know what? I was talking to somebody else about this, and I'm like, they were like, well, it didn't show as much of every woman talking with him. And I'm like, well, maybe they just weren't good conversations, or maybe they literally were like, you know, I don't think the vibe is here. Right. Like, why waste our time?
I know. You know? And I feel like when you're at that age, even for a guy, it's like you just, I don't know. I feel like you don't have time for like maybe they'll be better later.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to keep them around to take them.
Connection to build.
Or like, I want to keep him around for fantasy suite.
Yeah, like it's more just like the connection isn't there. We both know, let's move on. So maybe some of the women were just like, I'm going to kind of remove myself, or there wasn't a lot to show. Right. And I feel like they wouldn't show that if it did happen, because it just wouldn't paint things for their first Golden Bachelor in the best light. Which I don't think it is a negative, but I can just see from like a production standpoint and editing, they'd be like, well, we don't want people to be leaving right away. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's cute. It was just like a nice show so far.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Again, another just like lighthearted.
I know, just an easy watch. Yeah. Like,
I'm loving that.
Watching. I know, I love that for us.
As we're coming into fall.
I know, cozy season. Just to sit with a blanket on and watch like just a nice show.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping up with like 12 different shows that are airing every day of the week.
Literally. I know, I felt like the old me there for a second. I'm like, I'm watching shows.
And it was like you had your schedule, like Monday at 8 is this, and Tuesday is this, Thursday is this. Okay, our last one is Housewives, right?
Yep.
All right.
Which was the season finale.
I had kind of a lot of thoughts on this. Some of them are random, but
I will say you might have to jog my memory on some, so I have a few notes, but my son was bouncing off the walls.
Oh, no.
When I was trying to watch this.
And I literally just watched it yesterday because I was behind. Okay, so yeah, this was the finale. Basically, it kind of left off where everyone hates Heather. Everyone is against her for virtually no reason at all. Yep. And now we come in and basically Gina's just like, I want to have this party. And
But I did love all their costumes.
I know. I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. So we can talk about those. I thought, like, remember kind of at the beginning, there was like I think Heather was just talking about how she's just been beat down, dragged out, thrown in the fire, and crumpled up into a million pieces. And they showed this montage of all the times where, and it was like all different scenarios where every cast member has been talking badly about her or coming at her. And I'm like, that was like jarring to see, because it was just like one after another, after another, after another. I mean, this woman, how much, you said this last week, I think, how much can a woman take?
I know. And it's like, I mean, we were even talking about like some other reality shows where we're like, this is not enjoyable. Like, I don't want to watch people being ganged up on. And
I know.
You saw that thing where somebody was like, that's what we like to watch. It's like, I disagree. Like, I don't agree with that. I don't enjoy that. It makes me feel like I'm that person.
Yeah,
and I
agree. And I mean, we have been those people, and it feels so bad. And that's why, like, I have felt so badly for Heather, because there's been so many times where it's just like, it feels so terrible to be the one that's left out.
And it feels terrible, too, to think, oh, okay, so that's still going to happen when I'm in my 50s. It's it makes me, like, depressed.
Well, and it's frustrating because even when they were in Montana at the ranch, and they were like, you remember when they did, like, basically the Peach in the Pit or whatever they said it was. And Heather was like, well, to be honest, like, Tamra and Shannon, like, I felt a little excluded. And they're like, what? Are you kidding me?
Tamra.
It's like, are you really? Like, that is such a horrible feeling.
I know. And then to have somebody dismiss it.
Yes. I mean, and that was like at the beginning of the season, and it started out that way. It's just like, poor Heather. I just have never seen, I think, in the history of the Housewives franchises that I've watched, an entire season of this.
And nobody is on her side.
No.
It's like, we've seen, like, you know, Gretchen and Alexis from Tamra get beat up on, but it's like they at least had each other.
I know. And then when you think that she's got an ally, it's like, no.
You called me a loser.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
It's just absurd. Like,
I know.
It's absolutely absurd. So the Gina and Heather sit down was a little forced. I mean, I thought it was nice how Heather was like, okay, like, you wanted me here. Like, what do you have to say?
I know.
Like,
I thought that
done.
I know. I was really proud of Heather, like, throughout the episode, the way she stuck up for herself and was like, no, I'm not doing this.
I know.
Like, I'm done with this. And she was coming in with the receipt.
Oh, yeah, she was. But then, even then, Gina's
still
like,
wasn't.
But why? Okay, so, like, you know, Tamra said this, but why did Heather not tell me?
I know, the way she flipped it around. Well, if you knew she was saying it, why didn't you tell me?
What?
I know. You know what is a shame, too, is Gina's a really cute girl, but she is, like, deluded. Not to be mean. I don't mean that mean.
It's just like, there's parts of her that I found a little intriguing with, like, her and Travis, and I think that they're,
and, like, I enjoy looking at her because she's cute, but it's like then she starts talking, and I'm like,
she's a little bit of a mess, and it's just, then with all this, I really was not a fan. I thought it was so dumb when Tamra and Jen were out shopping, and Gina says, Tamra doesn't lie. She just saves information to use against you later when you're vulnerable. I'm like, okay, so
is that what good people do? Right.
And also, it's still, like, some could argue that omission of the truth is a lie. So, yeah. And then Tamra, it's just like this whole thing. I wrote down some stuff at the end of this where I did a little bit of research on Tamra, so we can dive into that. But this is just typical her game, where she talks crap about people. She gets caught. She has this heartfelt, quote unquote, heartfelt apology. And then she does the exact same thing over again. Like, how do other people not see this pattern?
I know, because they're scared of her.
It's just absurd.
Yeah, they're scared.
And Heather's finally standing up.
Yep.
So basically, after Gina and Heather's sit down, that's when the tides start turning. Mm-hmm. And Gina's like, okay, I understand. I feel like I'm more on Heather's side now. Right. And then Gina's like, okay, I am having this party. Now, we've said some things about Gina before. We know her financial situation is not the most lucrative at the moment. Okay, but do we think that Bravo paid for it? Or
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, that was a nice party. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And I feel like they always have to have these like over the top parties for that last episode. It's like their tradition. But what was the party for again? I can't even remember. It was just like
Halloween. Was it Halloween?
I can't remember.
Or did she just want to have a costume party? That was circus themed. I truly don't know.
No, I can't. I don't even remember.
No, I think it was Halloween because I think she was like, Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Oh.
But it's crazy that was filmed a year ago.
I know, like literally a year ago.
And or I wondered, you know how I haven't been watching RHOC, but I heard on other podcasts that there was like very obvious product placement on some of these parties. Like this was sponsored by, this product. And I wonder if like that was the case for this one.
Could have been.
But I didn't see any.
No, nothing that I noticed, but I wasn't looking. I was just like, oh, this is a nice party.
So before we kind of get into the meat and potatoes, do we want to go over everyone's costumes?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Emily's costume. The popcorn was clever.
And Shane, literally a t-shirt with butter on it.
I know.
That was cute.
I thought, I mean, even Shannon looked cool.
Yeah, I thought Shannon looked really pretty, actually.
I know. And when her and her boyfriend were taking that picture, I was like, that was a pretty smile. Mm-hmm. Like, I just thought it was pretty.
Yeah, no, I thought they both looked good.
Heather looked amazing. Heather, like a trapeze.
Oh my gosh. And person. Again, like, it's obvious what she is. She came in with a freaking hoop.
I know. It's like,
are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and she looked good.
And I love how Terry was just like staff.
I know. I thought that was cute.
I would expect nothing less from Terry. And then Jen and Ryan, I made a note here that we should all notice that Ryan, of course, was a shirtless lion tamer.
Yeah.
While Jen was the lion.
I thought she looked cute, but it would have been cuter if it would have been like a hotter lion. Like,
right. Or just like it was a leggy costume, but it just looked a little weird and very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And then Ryan is just the biggest douchebag I've ever seen in my entire life. That's all I have to say. Tamra was the evil, demented clown.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely a possessed.
It definitely fit in for basically who she's been this entire season / on her entire career as a housewife. And Eddie also looked like a demented clown.
They only showed him like one freaking time.
I know. They really didn't say much about him. Oh, yeah,
he exists.
Taylor and John, the only thing we got out of poor Taylor was how drunk she was. Oh my
going to the bathroom.
gosh.
She looked really cute though. I was like,
her
that
little
was
candy
cute.
queen. Like, yeah, that was cute.
I wonder if Bravo did like plan out all their costumes. I mean, I'm sure they talked amongst each other, but it was like.
Well, I thought about that, but then I was like, I bet they didn't because Gina and Travis were also like a ringleader and a lion. So it's like, but I thought that they looked better, even though Travis was, phoning it in. It was just like cuter for him to be the little lion.
And again, like Gina is a cute girl. And she looked really cute.
She is. I think that was everybody, right?
Yes.
Okay. So basically everything's going great. And then Heather comes and everyone's like, oh my God, well, not everyone. It's literally just Tamra. And then we get to watch as Heather picks each housewife off for a one-on-one conversation.
The part that was like annoying about that was the way these housewives who've been ganging up on her this whole time just caved and were like,
so quickly.
And then they literally, like what we were saying before, they admitted that they were projecting.
I know.
Onto her.
All of them, basically.
Yes. And I was like, oh, that's funny. You're really changing your tune now that it's your last day of filming.
Right.
I wouldn't have bought it if I was Heather. I'd be like, screw you guys.
We'll see if she actually does or if this was but I thought it was hilarious how every time Heather would be having a conversation, we would cut to Tamra and she's like, look at her. Oh, look.
Doing.
Yeah. I mean, and we got to watch as Tamra just slowly realizes like, what's happening.
Now Emily's talking to her. Now the Shannon's talking to her.
Basically, like we've said this entire time, Heather has absolutely nothing to apologize for. So when some of these conversations like started out kind of like, well, you know, we've both done that. No. Heather has done literally nothing.
I know.
I liked the Jen and Heather conversation. I thought that Tamra made it nearly impossible for anyone to get to know Jen more than just the Ryan thing. I mean, and I think that what Jen even said, she's like, I don't blame Heather for like maybe being standoffish to me because I was associated with drama this entire season, or like my identity was this horrible thing with Ryan. So I thought that was good of her. And honestly, Jen hasn't been so hateful to Tamra.
No, not at all.
Like she said a few little snide comments because Tamra's gotten in her ear.
Yeah, or like won't stop.
Yeah, but she hasn't come at Heather's throat.
No.
And I do like Jen. I just don't like Ryan.
I know. I don't mind Jen. Again, it's like I wish we could have known her on a different level than just being accused of being a cheater and all these horrible things.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. She was accused of being a cheater, of destroying her family.
I know. It's like, those are some awful things to say to somebody right on TV, right on your first season. Don't know these people.
She's had a kind of a terrible season. Like, what an awful time.
I know. It's like, I wouldn't even want to do it if I was her anymore.
I know. I felt really bad when she was talking about the money situation too. Like, what a difficult
I know. And then the way everybody was like judging her, it's like, this isn't the situation she wants to be in. It's like, don't be so dang nasty.
I know. Like, I don't really understand.
I'm like, that's somebody's mother. I know. It's like we didn't have the full picture because it was never, because the only time it was getting like explained to us is when Jen was trying to defend herself,
right? And then it was like a heated moment kind of, and it all just looped back to Ryan. But I thought that was nice. I thought that the conversation between Emily and Heather was a little interesting too. It was nice to see Emily more vulnerable, even though we've said multiple times that we've both been disappointed with Emily regarding the Heather stuff. It was nice to see her kind of break down a little bit and try and shed that like hard, sarcastic, sometimes abrasive exterior.
It was.
Because I do like her too. It's just the stuff, how she was so easily manipulated is what threw me off.
I know. It makes me almost not like her though, that she can be so easily swayed in like an instant and turn on somebody.
I know. And then so things really start coming to a head when Heather and who is it? Gina and Emily are taking photos together, and then Tamra sees this.
I don't like that.
And is like, well, this is, you're singing a different tune, taking pictures together. Like, just trying to start like stuff again.
Yeah, like literally right in front of Heather, right in front of everything. It's like, come on,
It's like what an evil teenager would say, like, well, that's not what you told me yesterday.
Right. Literally, no, middle schooler, not high schooler.
I thought the ultimate power move, though, was when that is happening and Heather literally just walks away.
I know.
She just removed herself and is like, I don't even want to be around her. That is something that I definitely do. Like, I can't even be around people. I can't fake it. Sometimes I just like remove myself. So then the big one-sided fight happens. What did you think about that between Heather and Tamra?
I'm proud of Heather for like being like, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Get out of my face. I'm not doing this with you. This is a waste of time.
It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But Tamra comes up like, she just thinks this is going to be the biggest thing ever.
Zingers
out. Like she literally stomps over, hand on her hip.
Like, what'd you say, Heather? Yeah, she's like, what'd you say?
Yeah. Are you serious?
I know. Are you serious? You seriously said that?
Like, come on.
No, bye.
Yeah, and she just shuts it down. Like, it is so... I felt so bad for Terry. He's, like, watching, and he's like, I don't know what to do.
I know. I literally was looking at his face, and he was just like, oh, my God.
I know, like, this again. But, yeah, Heather was totally done. She stood up to the bully, and that's all that Tamra is a bully. Like, that's all she's been this whole season, is an evil little demonic clown bully. And we've all had enough. I would literally be floored if it comes out that Heather was actually this manipulative and conniving woman. I mean, I would be
like, what?
So shocked.
I know. One, it's like nobody's perfect, but I just think this whole like Tamra hatred for her is so bizarre. Like, I don't know where it's like
she's jealous. I mean, she obviously is jealous. It's a power struggle now. And I thought it was interesting at the end when Heather was like, if you want this crown, have it. Like, I don't want it. This isn't a competition. So this is where I did a little bit of history lesson for myself in Housewives, because I was like, this is just typical Heather behavior. I mean, typical Tamra behavior. And I feel like we didn't notice it as much because before she was overpowered by like crazy stuff happening with Vicky or who else? Kelly Dodd, or like, the bizarreness that was Gretchen, Rossi. But now it's like only her, and she just wanted to come back with a vengeance and start some stuff.
What was the thing? Did I see something or did I listen to something where they were talking about how hard she was going at, was that on the season? Where how hard she was going at Brooks, but then it just like she happened to turn out to be right.
That, I don't know. They said that on Turtle Time, but I don't know if you listened to that one. And they literally said how like...
Maybe I saw a TikTok of it or something.
Maybe you did. Where it was just like, okay, by coincidence...
You happened to be right.
Yeah, you were right on that.
It's kind of like the La Raquel thing.
Right,
it's like,
literally.
That doesn't mean you weren't mean and nasty person. It just meant you happened to be right.
Yes. And this is, I mean, there's so many parallels between the Brooks thing and the Jen Ryan thing. Like, yeah, like we just said, Brooks did turn out to be a sneaky, evil man. But she was at his throat from the beginning, trying to stir things up, trying to pull things out of the past.
Right.
And not let it go. And then she'll say, she said to Vicky so many times, okay, if this is what makes you happy, whatever, but I don't think he's good for you. I'm trying to protect you. And that's exactly what she said to Jen. They also said on Turtle Time when she threw the drink at Jenna Keogh and like threw it in her eye. And I forgot about that. I mean, I remember that iconic moment, but like I rewatched the actual fight and it was like so unwarranted. And then that's when Jenna was like, no, this is why Simon is leaving you because you are crazy.
I thought was her name Gina?
Oh, Gina. You're right. It was Gina.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And then that was I remembered that too, where she threw the like just hardcore
straight in her eyeball,
full glass of whatever wine right in her face, and she's like, "Oh my gosh,
yeah."
And then I remember Brianna was like,
everyone
just
was
happened?
Shocked.
I mean,
that is the erratic behavior, and from rewatching that, Gina's literally like, she's trying to like bring some stuff up, but she is speaking calmly and rationally. And all of a sudden, like the demon inside of Tamra is unleashed and she starts screaming in her face and then throws the wine. I mean, it insane. That was season 6. And she also says some horrible things to her at the end. No one likes you. Like, why are you even here? We already talked about earlier this season of our podcast, Naked Wasted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how...
It's getting wasted, naked wasted.
And how was that with Gretchen? How did no one like watch that and be like, this is so
weird.
Wrong?
Or like any of the other housewives that were sitting there, like Lynn, why didn't you say anything? You have freaking daughters.
Right. And you were just pushing... She was pushing her
son.
Kind of gross
That's like
son.
Next level.
I mean,
creep.
It
gross.
Was just, that is such sick behavior.
Right.
And then what was the other thing? Oh, she got physical with Kelly Dodd. And then in season 7, I came with receipts here too. Mm-hmm. She says they're talking about the Kelly Dodd stuff, and they're like, this isn't the first time you've gotten physical, and they bring up the Gina thing. And Tamra's like, well, I would never do any of that if I wasn't drinking. Flash forward to season 17 that we're in right now. You are doing the same things.
Right. I know.
It's just like this woman.
And it's like she'll pick it, like even the Kelly Dodd thing, not that Kelly Dodd was a perfect angel,
no,
but it's
she
like,
wasn't, but still.
You know, she's like picking at people like Kelly Dodd all the time. And then Kelly's like, well, no wonder your daughter doesn't talk to you. And then it's like,
how dare you?
Yeah. I will never speak to that woman again.
Yeah. You are a bleeping bleepity bleep bleep. Yeah,
gosh, Kelly
it's
Dodd.
Just, Kelly Dodd was problematic in and of herself. Man. But also, you know, looking back on some of these clips that I was watching, I just think Kelly was pushed to her limit,
I know.
too.
I agree. It's like if she's mad about something, then she would tell you and she would fight back. She was not somebody who just took stuff.
And it just so happens that Tamra, when she wants to be, is a little bit more level-headed when she's like picking and poking at people so that then they explode, and then she's like, what is going on? You know, well,
and Tamra, I mean, everybody fights with their parents, but I mean, she's been in fights with her moms, fights with her kids.
I wonder, this is a little side note, and it is very dark with the stuff with her daughter, but like, I wonder what is going on with that now. Like, we haven't heard about that in quite some time.
Wasn't it in the beginning of the season, she said something about her mom? Was that this season? I don't know what else. Where she was, or maybe it was like whatever. The daughter's room was like above the mom's or something. And she was like, her mom was like hooking up with somebody.
Of course, we had to have that typical Tamra trope in there.
So I don't know. So I guess the daughter must come around, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're not going to see any of that on the show because I don't think Simon or the daughter wants to be featured on the show like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a pattern with Tamra. Like, she's always been terrible, but I just think that like we didn't notice it as much because she was really good at kind of hiding things.
I think like Tamra seems like fun. I mean, she seems fun and likable. It's just when she gets in this weird fixation on one thing, she like cannot get off of it.
This is the worst though, in my opinion. I mean,
this has been, well, this like, not that she was that much younger before, but you do kind of be like, okay, well, it always seemed kind of like schemey, like, I don't know, but now it seems just like, are you still doing this? I think that's kind of like the weirdest part. Like, there's no genuine fight. You're just
making
picking
stuff.
To pick.
And you're literally just, you know that you're twisting and turning words and telling certain people certain things just to turn them against, in this instance, Heather. It's just, I was excited at the beginning to have her back because she does bring some good drama, but the way this unfolded this season is like something I never could have imagined.
I know, and I do think like, as crazy as Vicky is, I do think she has kind of grown a little bit, and I think if she was like a permanent fixture, it wouldn't be this. It
is difficult to kind of watch some of this stuff because, don't get me wrong, like I love to have a few drinks. I love on a reality show when people get a little bit more liquid courage and we have a little bit more fun. But it just feels like with this season, with these women, and maybe it is just because they're, getting older now, and it's like, okay, is this seriously still what we're doing? But it's like the drinking is just kind of out of control,
And it's like, you guys know better at this point.
Right.
You know how the show works.
And you can't use it as an excuse for your behavior anymore. Like why do I keep mixing up Heather and Tamra? But Tamra literally saying like, I didn't even know what I said. If you're getting like blackout, come on.
I know.
You're not in college.
No.
That's enough.
Right.
So I think that this reunion is going to be very interesting.
I know. What is that a green screen?
I think it was.
Or was it supposed to be like, pretend all of a sudden we're at the beach?
It's probably some crazy new like AI thing.
It's sponsoring it. But I was like, what is this? And then you could kind of see like the lights above it.
But things were still moving. Weren't things in the background moving? I don't know this new technology.
I know, and they're all like, wow, it's where we live. I'm like,
okay,
what's going on here?
Why did everybody choose neon colors?
Oh, was it Heather that said that these have been some of the worst interview or like the confessional looks?
She's not wrong.
No, I know. It's like, yikes. Which is a shame because they're all just like beautiful women.
I know.
They're just not doing themselves any justice.
I know. Like the only one that has looked good, honestly, has been Heather.
Yeah, because it's been more of like subdued looks.
I mean, poor Jen with her like raven feathers coming out of her chest.
It's different, man.
Or basically all of Gina's outfits. They're just too much.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, like you said before with the ganging up thing, like that's not fun to watch for me. I mean, I'm not going to stop watching Housewives, but it's just like it's not fun to watch somebody just be like trampled on the whole time when it's completely unwarranted.
I don't mind the fighting and the dramatics when it's like naturally happening.
Yeah, it's fun in that way, you know?
I know, and it's like, obviously, we all love reality TV for like that reason, but it's like, even, I guess maybe when you're younger, you don't notice it in as much of it being a problem, but I don't know if it's like the older we're getting. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know, I'm not that into that anymore.
I know that type of drama. Or we're not going to get into this whole thing, but we were even saying with like the Kardashians,
right?
Like, the deep-seated family issues.
I know, like, I don't want to, like, at a certain point, it gets too heavy. And I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, it's like, we shouldn't be seeing this. And that was, like, the beginning of, Beverly Hills with Kyle and Kim. Like, that limo. I mean, every scene with them, it was so uncomfortable because it was like, this is a family. And even with Kathy when she was on there, I'm like, this is too like raw.
I know, like I don't like that anymore. Yeah. It's too much.
Well, yeah, this was just a lot of talking about shows, but a lot are on, so we had to let us know what you guys think about these.
Are you going to watch any of these shows?
I know we're going to be gearing up for Beverly Hills soon.
Yeah.
I can't keep up. Like, I know I think Salt Lake City's on, Beverly Hills, they're going to be on, Southern Charm is on. There's like multiple other. I can't do all the Bravo stuff. I don't watch every season of the house or every
and I think it'd be different if I would have kept up with it from before. Yeah. But even before, it was like Beverly Hills, OC, and then sometimes Jersey, sometimes
I'd watch New York.
Yeah, or like I'd pop in for reunions. I used to love watching every season's reunions just because.
Yeah, but because you can. Right. You don't have to really watch the whole season.
No.
Okay, guys, we are really excited to announce another collaboration with the brand Happy Earth. They make the cutest clothes and they are sustainable and made really responsibly. We are getting an order in soon, so we're really excited to show you guys some of their cute fashions, especially with the temperatures cooling down here in Ohio. For fall, these are going to be so perfect. So they have everything from organic sweatshirts to organic joggers, really cute graphic tees, and the best part about this brand is that they actually give back to the environment. So with every purchase, you are helping to fight climate change, plant trees, and even clean up trash. So for a nice discount, you guys can use Emotional Support Water Bottle Pod at checkout for a wonderful 20% off. That's at happyearthapparel.com. Use code Emotional Support Water Bottle Pod for 20% off at checkout. To pivot slightly and then we can like stop talking about reality television. Did you ever watch Southern Charm?
No, I think that one was one I've never tried.
I didn't watch like a whole season, but I have popped in before and watched a few episodes, but never like kept up with it. And I haven't watched it recently, but I do kind of like their dynamic because it's different than the other shows.
That one in Summer House, it was kind of like just something different because we're so many housewives.
Yeah.
And like that dynamic.
And I kind of wish that I would have been in on Southern Charm because I think that is a great show from what I've heard.
And I feel like when that kind of came out, we were kind of like in the very young adult age where it was like you're not living at home, like you kind of have to pick and choose the shows that you had to watch, and not all of them made the cut.
They just didn't. There wasn't time. And I like that, North Carolina, South Carolina vibe, Charleston vibe. And I wish I would have gotten into it, but at this point, I'm not hopping on that train.
I know. It's like sometimes you're too far in. Although it would be like, with all the streaming, it's like you can kind of find from the beginning.
Yeah. I think it's funny, and I don't know if this is something that is said widely with the Southern Charm fandom or just Bravo holics, but on Turtle Time, they keep saying the under 42s, and kind of in relation to Southern Charm. And it's on Bravo, them and Vanderpump are kind of, and Summer House and Winter House and stuff, they're the younger,
I know,
but
Bravo
they're
Jen.
not really that young.
No, we're still in our 30s. The characters. I don't know what you call them.
They're people, but kind of a character.
Are also heading into their 40s and in their 40s.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. And then the housewives are 50s. Some of them, Vicky's got to be late 50s.
I would even say 60 something.
Yeah, I would think she is. I don't want to say anything poorly about Vicky, who got the Housewife Award this year. Well deserved.
She's 61.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, she
could be on The Bachelor. Golden Bachelor.
That would have been kind of fun.
That would have been on. What if she could be the Golden Bachelorette?
Oh my God.
She would freaking love it.
She would love the attention. She'd be in
they
heaven.
Just have to have a super good job.
Her list would be on the wall. That would be fun. Oh my gosh, somebody pitch it.
I know. Should we?
We should. Yeah. No one take it. It's our idea.
Saying it now. Date us right now. It's October 1st or 2nd, 2023.
Okay, well, we'll be talking finales on that one. So please let us know your thoughts. All right. Are we ready to kind of wrap it up?
Yep. My recommendation is going to be, which I just talked about earlier, is Mila Tequila's YouTube channel. She's done some deep dives. She did a really good 2-parter, over 2 hours, both of them on Jersey Shore.
That's nice.
It was great.
Love a long form.
Yeah, she's done a lot of good ones. Obviously that Britney one, if you want to watch Britney's teeth change.
That was it.
That's on there.
When you say her, I just think Tila Tequila.
I know. I think that's like the silliness of it. She's I don't know how old she is. She's maybe in college. She's so funny. She's just like but she's like just good at explaining everything. And she puts so much time and effort into the videos. And I'm like, good for you.
I know.
And she only puts one out like every couple months because it's like
so
she has
in
a life and it's in depth. And yeah, so I recommend her channel.
Makes you want more.
It does.
Well, I do have I kind of have two. I'll stick with like the podcast thing because I didn't really talk about it. The most recent, even though it's like, why do we plug all these other podcasts and channels on here when we need our own support?
Right.
But I listened to the Raven Simone episode of Nick Vile's podcast.
Oh, is that newer?
Yes, it is. I think it was from last week. And I really did not know what to expect. I legitimately just put it on while I was taking a shower because I wanted noise. And I'm like, this could be. But it was very, very good.
She's actually surprisingly level-headed and like really interesting to hear talk. And I know she's kind of been in like controversies because she's said like, I don't know, just different things, I guess.
I know.
But I feel like she's just a really intelligent person.
And you can tell that she's done a lot of thinking, a lot of like work with herself and just like thinking about how she can change and evolve as a person, what she wants her future to be. And her wife was on it too. And she was like very similarly minded, but it was really interesting. And like Nick did give them the space to speak, which is sometimes unusual for him. But it was really good. And like you said, she kind of went through a weird little patch. But it feels like she really is more level now and more herself. And maybe like kind of with the JoJo Siwa thing, it's like we were so used to seeing her as this one person on Disney. And then when she as an actual person was different than that persona, like it kind of threw people off. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I walked away from that like, wow. Like I really gathered stuff from it and it made me think. It was very thought-provoking and I was not expecting it. So
cool. I mean, That's So Raven used to be a great show.
Oh my gosh.
And she was so beautiful. And I just loved, she had such a good way of doing physical comedy.
I know. It didn't seem so forced.
No. And she was just so funny and just so pretty. And her style was just fun. And she had like the cool bedroom.
I know. Yeah. And her outfits were always like tonal with like a random other color, and they were so of the time but also modern. And I thought it was interesting. She kind of talked a little bit about the random parts of the show, or just like how it was kind of progressive with things that they tackled.
Oh my gosh, they definitely were. Like there's even like episodes about being like black. And
I honestly like I don't remember those episodes. Like I don't remember watching them and being like, whoa, you know, I mean, which I guess is kind of a good thing, where it was just like I took it in and didn't think like this is radical. Like it was just more like there's an episode that I enjoyed. But also like the weight thing, like I remember her talking about that. Like those episodes were so good, and they did push boundaries, and she really was like, kudos to Disney for allowing us to do that.
I know that show, it's funny, some of like, I feel like even her show, like the concept of like this girl like having psychic visions and then all these antics that lead up to prevent the bad thing that's gonna happen always ends up being the thing. Like that sounds like dumb, but the way they did it was like the writers on that were so good.
I know. It was a great, and the supporting cast was good as well, except for, you know, the future of, what was his name? The guy. He went through a bit of a rough time.
Eddie, whatever his real name is. There was that really good episode, speaking of the weight
Brown,
thing.
that was his last name.
Yeah. Orlando Brown.
All I could think of was Cordon Bleu from
Corbin. Actually, now that you say that, why, if your last name is Blue, why would you name him Corbin when it literally sounds like Cordon Bleu?
Why did I do this entire episode? Oh my god. Yeah, all I could think of was Corbin Blue. But I knew they weren't the same person.
They had that good episode of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody too, where it was like London and Maddie were trying to model, and they were like, you need to be curvier, Maddie. And then they're like to London, you need to be thinner. And it was like, I don't know, it was cool to show both parts.
Yeah, it is weird. Like, we were exposed to that kind of stuff and like it resonated, but also, I mean, I think we were just so overexposed to other parts of like body image that nothing could have helped us. But as far as like some of the race stuff or like identity things obviously weren't as like progressive as they are now, but it was almost just the way that they were done. Like, nothing seemed forced, nothing seemed like there's a huge problem and we need to solve it. It was just like, this is how like normal things pan out. Yeah, and it didn't even feel like we were being taught a lesson.
No, it just was a good episode. Like, all those episodes were good. Did you watch Raven's Home?
No.
Me either, but it seemed like there was like 4 seasons of it, and like they really...
Okay, she mentioned, and I don't know if it was that show or if they're doing like a different spinoff, but she mentioned like the show and it sounded like in present day, so I don't know if it's still on or if she was just like, I was misunderstanding by the way she was talking about it.
Yeah, but I couldn't... Hold on, everybody.
She said that with stuff on that show, though, that they also pushed boundaries and Disney gave them a lot of space to tackle different things. And like, she literally could not say anything negative about Disney. Like, she was like, they are doing a good job with this kind of stuff.
This is the last season of Raven's Home, season 7. This is season originally had 24, but Disney Channel ordered 10 more episodes for the season, adding up to 34.
So it's on right now?
It sounds that way.
Okay, so it was...
Good for them, 7 seasons.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Annalise Vanderpool, I think I'm saying her
She
name
was
right.
so pretty, too.
She was a pretty redhead. And she was funny.
Yeah, she was.
I guess she and Christy Carlson Romano have a podcast. This girl, or Christy, cannot stop with these.
No, she cannot.
She literally has gone to have like 7 podcasts.
And she can't stop. I feel like it's all just like the same thing. Like, she can't stop talking about like the Disney heyday
stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Which I get.
Right.
But at the same time, how many different ways can we discuss this?
I just really liked that cooking show she used to do. But anyway, they have a podcast. It's like, good grief, girl.
It is kind of random how these Disney stars from that era are just like, oh, we're still friends
again. I know, it is like, it makes me happy though, because it does feel like, because I feel like we hear so many negative things about like, you know, the things that kind of meant a lot to us, like Disney Channel and like all those actors. And then when they come out and they're like, this is the worst time of my life. I mean, it does make you sad, because it's like, now I don't want to watch it again, because it's not going to have the same cute, like, you know, if you want to watch it with your kids, it's like, it's just not the same if they're like, well, this producer was like molesting me the whole time, and it's like, oh gosh.
A lot of these people though, it seems like they're not really going in like that, which makes me feel like Raven was very positive. Like,
I know, that's why it is nice to end up hearing like nice stories in that they actually did have bonds together.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all just like awful times.
Yeah, like the slave labor at Disney. Like, but Raven did say, she's like, I had parents that were very like involved in my, and not in a negative way. Like they were still strict. Like I had chores to do. And it was and she had some interesting things to say, because Nick, I think it was Nick or might have been one of the others, asked like, what do you think about like the, you know, where the child laws with like the industry and how parents are involved and all that stuff. And she's like, well, I don't think that the parents should be allowed to be their managers. Right. And like they shouldn't be able to have access to this money. And like the kids shouldn't feel like they're the breadwinner. Right. And I mean, I agree. Like that's so much pressure. And I know, usually when it goes in like that, it turns out negatively.
It really does. I know. Hillary Duff said that too. They're like, why are you so normal? And she's like, because my mom didn't try to steal all my money and take advantage of me. It's like, it's crazy. But anywho.
Anyway, that could be kind of a fun episode to go into like our old Disney shows.
Yeah, Disney, all of them.
Yeah, kind of revisit like where are they now? That would be a fun one.
Let us know if you want us to do that. We're willing to.
Let us know. Oh, before we sign off, we did have a semi-viral TikTok. I thought it might keep some momentum going. News just in. It did not.
Yeah, I mean, it's that dang Sandoval.
We did gain extra followers, so thank you to everybody. If you follow us and you're listening, we appreciate you so much. Please continue to interact with us, because for some reason TikTok only lets us get 250 views.
I know, like no more, no less. It's like, okay.
But yeah, in all seriousness, thank you so much for listening. We love our little, I don't know what to call them. We need to get a name for our loyal listeners. Like something cute, you know, like Juicy Scoopers, or that's the only one I can think of.
Water bottles.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. What do you want to be called? Maybe we should start a survey.
Put it on Instagram.
Yeah, where we've got a lot of fake accounts. But
lots
hey,
of spammers.
It doesn't look bad.
It looks good anyway.
Yeah, follow us, interact with us, please, and don't forget about our book club that we mentioned. Hey Hun, we'll be reading that this month, and we will see you next week.
Bye.